Good morning and welcome to Leadership Matters. My name is Mezie Okolo and I bring you greetings from right place. Today I want to talk about our democracy. Part of the problem we have in Africa is that our democracy is not democratic. And what do I mean by our democracy is not democratic? You see that the people that represent us in government do not make the whole essence of governance the people. Democracy is supposed to be about we, the people. And so anytime the democracy leaves the people behind, it becomes undemocratic. It fails to achieve the purpose for which it was instituted in the first place. And this is a very serious problem all over Africa. When you look at our democratic process, you find out that number one, we don't field our best players. That in itself is a problem. And then the players that we field represent themselves and not the people. And so that also makes it even more difficult for us to see the dividend of democracy. If you look around in Africa, you find out that most of our African leaders have plan B outside of Africa. And their plan B could be the ability and readiness and willingness to run abroad, to run away to overseas countries. Most of them also do not have their families resident in Africa. In fact, it has become maybe norm or fashionable that they even brag about it, that their families live in Canada or England or America. And so when somebody is in an office, let's give for example, somebody is responsible for the educational system, for example, and then his family is not directly affected by the system he is over. He may or may not care about what other people are talking about. So if his children are studying abroad, and he is responsible for the educational system either of the state or of the local government or of the nation, and you're saying that teachers' school fees salaries are not paid, or that the school fees is too high, or that there are no supplies, or that the system is dilapidated, he probably wouldn't care. It doesn't affect him directly. How about somebody who is responsible for the health system and there are no supplies in the hospitals and the doctors' salaries are not paid and the health centers don't have water, not let alone quality clean water to do their normal wash activities and stuff? They may or may not care. How about a system where you just find out that there is a so-called better alternative that the politician can always easily fall back on, and they have the means and the resources and the will to take up those alternative sources? Then they could care less about our own collective source. And this is part of the problem we have all over Africa. And so, what do we suggest? We have to first and foremost make our democracy democratic. The people that we want to elect into offices have to show us what they have for us, and how their election and their tenure will be about the people, not about themselves. How they will advance the system and advance us as a people, and not to advance their own pockets and their cronies. That is number one. Number two, after we have elected these people into offices, there has to be mechanism built into the system for us to hold them accountable. Accountable for what they were supposed to do that they are not doing. Or accountable to what they said they would do that they are not doing. Or accountable to what they didn't say they would do that they are doing. Or accountable to what the people need that they are ignoring. There has to be a way for the people to be able to hold their elected officials accountable, so that we can get the best from their leadership. Otherwise, you waste a whole tenure, a whole 4 years or 8, achieving nothing. One time I asked a House of Rep member how many bills he had supported or promoted or initiated in the House over a 4-year period, and he couldn't remember. And I said to him, did you not waste 4 years in that office? So think about things like that. Somebody could have gone to an office or held an office for 4 years, and you cannot show one strategic achievement to show for that period and for that office that you occupy. So, how can we advance with those kind of mindset? How can we compete in Africa as Africans in a digital era with analog mindset? How can our leaders be leading us backwards instead of forward? So how can our leaders be able to design mechanisms to find out what the people need and where the needs are, and how to bridge the gaps and how to advance the people? Isn't that what leadership is about? The people themselves are also very gullible, because we are what I call leprous. Our hands are burning and we are laughing. Our feet are set on fire and we are laughing. People that are supposed to represent us do not represent us, and we are clapping hands for them. Like I said, one time some political office holder was said to be performing because he was paying salaries. And I said, is that not part of the normal job? So how is that performing? So how do we hire somebody to make sure that the affairs of an area, a region, or a state are taken care of, and then we are clapping for him just because he's paying salaries, so he is performing? That means our standards are ridiculously low. That means we have lost our sense of value. That means we don't even understand the democracy that we say we are practicing. Africans, when are we going to wake up as a people and decide to chart a course for ourselves and hold our leaders accountable to it and move our continent forward? Leadership matters, and we must do something while we have time. My name is Mezie Okolo from The Right Place. Thank you.